be hesitant to use the term IP in the context of blockchains because if you remember way back when the first software businesses came out, people said, "How can you make money in software? There's nothing tangible. There's no hardware." And then in software, they said, "Okay, well, we have IP. That's how you make money." And then when the internet came along, it's like, well, the software is going open source, and like, how are you going to make money? There's not even any software you're shipping. And then it turns out, well, the value is in the website and the users, and now blockchains are saying, well, even the website is up for grabs. So really all the value actually ends up being in the community. It's a very, very pure play thing where like only the community remains. That's why I think the last generation has a hard time wrapping their head around it. To answer,
but just to add to Naval's point, that's the most common source of confusion I see around NFTs. People think it has to do with copyright. Copyright's orthogonal. You can have an NFT and then you separately decide on the copyright, and it can be public domain, it can be fully copyrighted. It's a separate question. It's just completely orthogonal to to whether what you do on a blockchain. Sorry.
The value in the blockchains in the community. I mean, to answer your question, Sanjay, and I know that that IP doesn't really exist in blockchains, right, and not the same way, but I just don't want people to get confused and start thinking, well, intellectual property, well, who defends intellectual property? If it's not on chain, it's very hard for blockchains to adjudicate them, reason about them, and to allocate resources around them. But just backing up for a second, why tokens, right? The simple question is why tokens? Because I think a lot of regulators and a lot of people looking at this space skeptically would be like, well, why do you need a token? That just smells like a casino. Well, what you're doing underneath is you're replacing individual corporations and dictators and owners with markets, and markets need money. You cannot have markets without money because markets only signal through supply and demand and pricing. So they need money. And in this case, the blockchain needs to have control over the money that it is dealing in, because it needs to be able to hand out that money to people who are contributing, and it needs to be able to take that money away or slash or punish people who are doing bad things to the network, because every network has cheaters. So fundamentally, you cannot have a blockchain without tokens. I think this meme was alive in the early days of crypto, which is, I'm into blockchains, but not into Bitcoin. That's nonsense. You can't
blockchain, not Bitcoin.
Yeah, you can't be into a blockchain without its underlying token, because then it's a marketplace that has no money, and it's not a market anymore. Then it's just a mob. Then it's just done by headcount or by force or by randomness. It's not done in a logical way. So you need the money, the tokens, to reward the contributors and to punish the cheaters. And as Chris implied, these tokens are incredibly malleable and programmable. It's more than just money. They're not just fungible. As Chris pointed out, most of the world does not consist of fungible items. Most of the world consists of non-fungible items. In fact, even in multiverse theory, which is one of the leading theories in physics as to kind of how the universe is constructed, there's fungible particles and there's non-fungible particles. And non-fungible, that is instantiated into the multiverse, outnumbers the fungible ones drastically. So for whatever reason, nature prefers non-fungibility. That's reality. Reality is non-fungible. Fungible is mostly a construct. And so we just kind of have to realize that most of this market is going to head into tokens that then become malleable into being non-fungible tokens. And the different ways in which you can create, transact, store, and program value is going to be nearly infinite. I would say, in a way, Chris is absolutely right. NFTs are going to be unrecognizable 3 or 4 years from now from where they are today. And they're going to be viewed as fundamental a piece of the internet as anything else.